Now, for any of you that watch me regularly, you know I like stealth farming because there's no competition, and in the outside world, there's always a lot of competition for both herbs and mines. I recently put out a video about how to get 5 herbs in 5 minutes by just solo farming, stealthing in as a rogue to Azjol Nerub. Many of you asked if it's possible as a druid. Yes, it's also possible as a druid. Stealth farming's all well and good and definitely something I'll be doing, but I want to be completely clear on what the point of this video is. Because if you're going fresh or whether you're carrying on with your existing characters, it still doesn't really matter. When you get to 80 on your main, odds are it's not going to have herbing or mining. Instead, it's going to have 2 sort of primary crafting professions, and you're going to want to be doing heroics, getting reputations done, getting your gear, getting ready for knacks. So leveling your gathering character to get herbs and mines for your main is probably something that's going to come a little bit later and not in the initial weeks of launch. So what I've been doing is looking for ways to get higher level herbs as a level 70 character. Now that rules out instances. The main reason being most of the higher level instances that drop the higher level herbs or have the higher level herbs spawning, you're just not going to be able to do on your stealth farming character or just your general herb miner at level 70. Because you don't have to be a rogue for this video. You can be any class whatsoever that's got herbing and is level 70 with a little bit of gear. So without actually going to any higher level zones and only being level 70 and not being able to fly, I started looking at ways that I can get herbs and XP on the character whenever I've got a bit of downtime. So if I'm not playing on my main, or even if I am on the main but it's just flying around, where can I park my rogue to be able to get higher level herbs, even if it's not that quick? And the reason I say if it's not that quick, because let's face it, if you're level 80 and you're flying around herbing, it's definitely going to be quicker than this, but you're probably not going to have that luxury straight away. And the reason I say you're probably not going to have that luxury straight away is because if you go off of the current build on the beta, the Tome of Cold Weather Flying is actually in the game. So at level 80, you can speak to Hira Snowdawn, browse goods, and for 1,000 gold, you can buy Tome of Cold Weather Flying that can be used at level 68. So what this means is you could send it to your gathering character, and boom, just like that, I'm now going to be able to fly with epic flight form in Northrend. Now that's quite a big deal, because now your ult, once you've got your main to 80, you never even need to level it, especially if it's like a druid where you've got swift flight form and you can just fly around herbing and mining and only get into ones where you don't need to worry about fighting mobs. It's going to be very easy to get all of those materials. However, I highly doubt that's going to be the case. I really don't think Tome of Cold Weather Flying is actually going to be in at launch. I'd guess it'd come in around Ulduar. So what's your point, you're probably thinking? Well, assuming Tome of Cold Weather Flying isn't in, you're now going to need a way to be able to get some high level herbs without going to these high level zones. Because if you start going to Ice Crown or even Storm Peaks, riding around on your mount, trying to actually get these herbs and mines, you're going to have mass amounts of competitions with people that have got herbalism on their main or have got mining on their main who are just flying around getting it all before you. So there's a couple of areas I want to talk about where you can actually just grind at level 70, so you'll be getting XP on your ult and you'll also be getting a chance at herbs at the same time. Like you saw on that mob there, I actually herbed it and got a Tiger's Lily. Now in this particular area, which is called the Emerald Dragon Shrine in Dragonblight, you can see from these mobs I'm getting crystallized life. I've had Lich Bloom from the last mob, which Lich Bloom is a very high level herb. I've had Talandra's Rose and even Adder's Tongue. Now you're not going to get massive amounts, but it's a way you can get a handful of these herbs whilst also just focusing on getting some XP. And you got to remember, in this area you get normal herb spawn that you can gather on the way around, and you even get cobalt ore as well if you are herbing and mining on the particular character that you're farming in this area on. But if you are after picking up some herbs at level 70 and getting XP at the same time, this particular area is actually quite a decent place to grind because the mobs are not too far apart either. If you could AoE, you could easily grab 4 or 5 of these and AoE them all down together, herb them all, move on. Which at my level I'm not capable of doing, but as you can see, there's a bunch of them here where there was a mage AoE grinding on these, and I'm just herbing all of these kills. Now, I'm not claiming this is the fastest way to get herbs or even the fastest way to get experience, but if it's just on an ult that's on another account and you want to be able to get some herbs and maybe even just kill a bit of time, get rid of some rested XP on your gatherer, this is actually a really good place to go. And because it is in like a little green area, you know, it's a very foresty area, you do get a decent amount of herbs just spawn naturally in here as well. Now, there is another place which I'm not that keen on purely because there's going to be so many people questing here just to get all their quests for the Nexus. But in Koldari, you've got these magic-bound ancients, and there's also some neutral mobs that walk around that look the same. They just look a bit more friendly. You can also herb these, and they've got exactly the same loot table. So you can get, even from these level 71s, things like Lich Bloom, Crystallized Life, and everything else that you can think of. The problem with this area is they're just so spread out. I was very lucky here that there was 2 quite close to each other, But quite honestly, you'd be running around ages trying to find these. So I wouldn't really recommend this place, but it is another option. Now, my rogue isn't capable of taking these mobs down solo in the Nexus, but if you're like a feral druid or something like that, that's got herb in, you can also herb these mobs in the Nexus, but honestly, I'd say it's really not worth it. You'd be better off in the Emerald Dragon Shrine. But this is just a way, as I say, to be able to get some herbs which come from higher level zones without actually being higher than level 70. And it's a great place to grind if you're just watching Netflix. Grind here, grab any herbs and mines that spawn in the Emerald Dragon Shrine and kill all the little trees at the same time. Easy game. If you enjoyed the video, hit like, subscribe to the channel. Hitting like really helps more than you know, so smash it. Like, I'll wait while you do it. I don't know why I've done that. I've not even got a watch on. But yeah, like, subscribe, roll the outro. There's lots of ways you can support the channel to keep me here putting out World of Warcraft content and covering all future MMOs. Consider joining the channel as a member. You get access to emotes. Everyone will know you're a member when you comment on future videos because you get a nice icon next to your name. And you get access to members-only videos, which I'll be putting a lot of on the channel throughout the year. Additionally, there's a Patreon link in the description as well. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you on the next one.